the naturopaths and the homeopaths and the chiropractors said, okay, going by what you said, it sounds like he's had a reaction to the vaccine. Let's go about fixing it. The doctors didn't say anything about that. The doctors were saying, the GPs were saying, nothing to do with us. Wipe the hands, so that was a big instant wake-up call for that, and I was fuming. I was fuming. I was seeing red. So after that, they decided that I wasn't going to sit by and watch any more innocent kids or families go through what we went through, and a lot of them have gone through a lot worse. And that's when I became extremely active on the front lines and decided to make a difference.
Can you understand maybe the point of view of the doctors? I know it's hard to say this, but I have one doctor friend now.
Hey, Ozzy, how you going?
I'm an anti-vaxxer, but he has 2 daughters who are profoundly affected by vaccines. After the first one, he still.
I might put this up on something actually.
It took 2 daughters.
Sorry for a second.
For him to suddenly stop, and that's why he wouldn't do the COVID vaccination. And what he did was he started issuing exemptions in a small country town on the back road. And within
this is Rural Rebel. It's interviewing Triccy, who we at the Brisbane rallies. Aussie.
People were Victoria. People
come on.
To get these exemptions, and the cops came shut him down, of course. And now he's on the wrong side of APRA. But there seems to be with vaccines more a religion with doctors in their belief of it than science. Have you noticed that?
Hey, Sarah. You know, my daughter said the same thing, Aussie. He looks like Michael Jackson when Michael Jackson was younger.
This is the thing. Ask the doctor.
I don't know.
From experience, I watched doctors respond, and this is what I do. They don't get taught about.
Don't know how that's going to go when I've got me.
A day or up to a week and a half, depending on where they were in what country they're studying.
Fuck.
They don't get taught about the learn.
Sorry, guys.
The vaccine schedule, when to inject the patient.
Honey.
They don't learn about what's in it or the side effects and the scientific studies behind it.
There we go.
So they get taught that this is how we do it. Don't question it. And it's on. So and I don't like referring to doctors in a derogatory manner, because I do believe the vast majority of them are good people, and they got into that thing because they wanted to help people, which is it's an honourable thing to be doing. But the fact is that industry is heavily indoctrinated, and unfortunately these people go from school to university, the indoctrination continues, and then into their workplace, and it continues there as they continue on further through. So it's
I think I'll just leave it like that.
Industry. It's been corrupted since very early on in the piece. We can go there if you want. Well, that's up to you.
Can I first start before this? Were you part of it, leader of any other movements? Like, was this what you were doing, or was that the birth of it?
So after that injury with my son in 16, there's a group in America called, it was the Vax Bus, Polly, Tommy, Anu, and they came to Australia in 17 and did a Australian tour, and it just happened to be my family was the first family interviewed on that tour, and the Australian Vaccination Network.
Hey, Snags, how you going?
The president was Tasha David, and the founder, Beryl Dory. They came over to my town to do an interview with me with the Vax team. That's where they met me for the first time, and Tasha was telling my partner that after the interview, I was walking away. She goes, "We're going to have that man on our committee very soon." And I think it was 6 months later. I was on the committee of the AVN. So that was an interesting journey too. And that was my sort of first taste of, well, being on for a not-for-profit committee is an interesting thing by itself. But in that field of work, what you're subjected to. Later on we purchased the Australian Vax bus. And they gave me the task of finding that bus. I was the only one sort of mechanically minded to a certain degree, so I made that purchase on behalf of the AVN. It just happened to be that it was the exact same model of the American bus, which we didn't even know at the time. It was just coincidence.
Well, I ended my stream just before Snags, and then I just started up because I got a notification that Rural Rebels interviewing Triccy.
It was devastating.
He's the one that does the Brisbane protests.
I was not prepared for it. And I wasn't interviewing him. I was just on the bus and helping out where I could. It was Meryl and Anita Huffmasters later on who was doing the interview, and to sit in that bus with them every day and watch the stories unfold, which already knew existed, but to be in that situation where you're hearing these people break down and telling you their story, it's an eye opener. It's heartbreaking. It's to drain on your energy because it's a very challenging task. I'm sure you're experiencing some of that now.
Hey, Daniel.
I interviewed another one of the drivers of that bus in Toowoomba, yeah, and he just started crying. He just started crying. It all came out.
He's a good man, though. His name's Mick. He's a lovely man, and this is the thing when he's in the same position. He saw it all, so he's sitting there firsthand watching it, and you can't help but to have that emotion come onto you, and you remember those. That stuff stays with you too, right?
I know.
It's pretty unfair, that we are we're being led astray, and that's why I'm dedicating and sacrificing this stage of my life to waking people up.
Good on him.
And to raising the warrior spirit in everyone, because we're going to win this.
Now, didn't
and there's going to be hard times ahead of us, but that's my job now is to get people motivated, to let them know that the only way through is to stick together, wake up, stick together, and push back. The time.
Tricky.
This is the greatest moment to be alive.
He's the one that does the Brisbane rallies.
And that's how we have to see. Yes, there's all this devastation around us.
But
we have to see.
He's one of ours.
We came down here for the purpose, all of us.
Queensland.
We chose to be here in this time to fight this battle. And that's how we have to see. We're blessed to be able to fight this battle on this physical plane. And let's get on with it.
How did that happen? And when COVID started happening, what part of it was when they mentioned the vaccine that you suddenly went, whoa? Or was it? Did you not believe it from the beginning? How did it affect you?
So from an early age, I knew something wasn't right about this world. I remember when I was in primary school, my dad was driving me to school. And I remember thinking, I'm getting dragged away from my family every day. I love my family, I don't want to leave them, but I'm being made to do this. And this is the thing, there's always exceptions to the rule. Everyone's got choices. But generally speaking, this is how this system
Tricky, Triccy.
For an education, which is, I don't even like calling it an education, but it's more conditioning now. They want us smart enough to operate
No,
machines.
but his kid was vaccinated.
That's what they're developing. So,
I'm not too sure about his job.
We're getting dragged away from our families every day to school. That's primary school. Then we go into high school, same thing. Then we either go into university for more of the same, or we get in the workforce. If you go to university, we end up in the workforce till we're 70, leaving our friends and family behind still. We'll have 3 years off. We'll retire. We'll have a few years of ill health, and then we're dead. And I worked it out pretty young. I wasn't happy with the way things were. I was in my mind then. I was too young to really do anything about it. So I just sat there and I went on with life. Then in grade 8, first year of high school, my dad took myself and my sister into his bedroom at one evening. Didn't tell us anything. Just turned the lights off, lit a candle, and he said, "Sit down." So we sat down. He said, "Stare at the flame." So I stared at it, and I don't know if it was a few minutes or half an hour, but eventually I went in to the flame. I became one with the flame. And I was too young. I was only grade 8. I think I was 11 years old where it was then. And I freaked out, started crying, came back to my body. But what I realised at that stage was that there was a lot more to this than what we're being told, and they're not talking about it. So that triggered something in me too, and that was a very important part of my life. I think. I thank my dad for this. I'm emotional tonight.
That's a remarkable scene.
Yeah, it was. That's very impressionable on me. I'll always remember that moment. And after that, 9/11, I guess, was the next big thing. Like I said, I've been sus the whole time, but that rocked it. That really rocked me. I started researching into that. Total setup, absolute, perfectly controlled demolition. So that confirmed a lot of things for me. That these people, unfortunately, the people that are in control of it, most of the ones we see that are not in control, they're just puppets with their strings being pulled from behind the scenes. The ones doing the puppeteering, they're evil people. They are, and I'm sorry to say that word, but they're evil. They've got evil agendas, and they want full control of the people. For dark reasons, and so that's when I first started speaking out back then.
You started speaking out then, because
I'm not going to sit there and know what I know, and I didn't think I knew. I fucking knew. So I knew what was going on in this world then, and so people were pushing back against me, and I'd push back against them, and there'd be arguments. So I wasn't getting very many people inside because I was still very immature at that stage. And I knew when I was right, and I knew anyone arguing with me was wrong. So I'd tell them they're wrong, and then I'm right, and we know where that's going to go. So that was all leading up to this. Was all of that stage in my life was leading up to where I am now. You know? After that,
Can I just say an interesting thing about 9/11?
Michael Jackson.
I was working in the workforce then with a load of men, and there was one army guy who was saying it was real, the story was real. And I said, look, no one believes the story's real. And we had about 100 people in the staff room, and as a joke, I said, let's take a vote. Who believes it was real? No one put their hand up except him. Who believes, something...
Really saying who
believes the narrative, yeah. I said, who thinks something really, evil or something happened? And everyone put their hand up. And then what really struck me is we all know, or most of us believe it was dodgy, and yet we don't talk about it. I think, is that because we think if they had the audacity to do that, then I'm nothing, So to stand up against that sort of power takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, it does. But all it takes really, I remember watching film clips there where people were filming the towers.
Yeah.
You saw people choosing to jump to their death.
Snakes. Oh.
And to think that a government was, a government and secret agencies behind the scenes that aren't secret, were set this thing up to create a situation where
I
the
don't
public
know.
would back them
Now
to
I
go
know
invade
what
a
you
foreign
mean.
country under false pretenses. That hits home pretty bloody hard when you figure that out. So I was angry. So I wanted to tell people the truth. So I did. And that's where it all started for me, I think, really on the although I wasn't out on the street marching at that stage, that's where the activism got really kicked in for me.
When did that happen?
So it took me a few years to research it fully and start
Michael
pegging
was
hard,
right
but
behind me sitting
it
on
was
the
actually
couch
2001, so that would have
on
been
his big screen here.
a few years after that.
Through his phone onto our TV.
So next big event leading up here was probably my son's vaccine injury in 2016. We spoke about that. Then in 2019, my brother was murdered, and that's that. Even now looking at that really, I look at it now like it was. This is the thing. There's always two ways to look at things, or more than two ways. But there's always positives you can take out of a situation. And I learned to take positives out of that. It broke my heart, man. I broke out I had eczema all over my body. I was scratching that bad. My sheets were covered in blood, and 3 nights of no sleep. And I was mentally, it was a very challenging time. There was a few other. I had a failing transport business I was trying to launch. So there's a few things going on at that time. But now looking back on it, you can either
He can't type.
give up and end up in a.
He can't type when his
sack on the ground.
phone's hooked
We
up to
can
the
take
TV snakes.
the positives out of it, learn from it, and keep pushing forward. And that's what I chose to do with that. And like I said, all these things, I do believe that it's been leading up to this point for me. Since I was a kid, I knew there was a feeling in me that told me I was here to do this. And that's where this came from. 2020, you were saying. In 2020, that's when I knew my time had come. 2019, I was still in the committee of the AVM, and we all got together and we were saying, look, 2020, it's stuff's going to happen, But none of us knew it was going to kick off the way it did, and it's hard and extreme. It was like you could walk into another reality.
Yeah.
But when it did, so I've never had anxiety in my life, not once. When 2020, when COVID-19 hit, I remember at that stage going, everything I thought that I knew has now been confirmed. It's real, and this is the start of it. These guys are coming for us, and they're starting now. And obviously, being on the committee for not-for-profit, I was dedicated to it. And I worked full-time, so there were stresses on my family. My partner wasn't happy, she was saying, look, you need to come back to the family. You've done this for long enough now. We want you here. I said, all right, I'm going to step back from the ABN. That was before 2020, just before it. And then this so-called pandemic hit. And I joined the dots and realised that this is them coming at us now. And I had those 3 nights of anxiety. And the third night, I looked at my partner in bed and I said, she knew what was going on too. She understands all this. And I looked at her and I said, babe, I'm going to go harder than I've ever gone before. And she goes, do what you got to do. So she backed me on it. We had our first rally. I just said, something came in and he said, this is your time, start speaking now, go. So I did it. And I said, well, fucking let's go.
I have to say that there was one point after I was shot at the shrine, and then I went.
Are you at him?
Yeah, I was shot earlier in the day. They had armored cars in the street, and they were shooting at us, and I got shot, and it was unbelievable. It was like
I was watching that shit live.
what the hell? And then I ended up at the shrine. I got arrested there. I got assaulted there. But when I came back, I remember telling my partner,
Hey, Daniel.
I'm married to this now. My past life is past. This is me now. I'm giving everything to this. I can just feel it in me. And so people go, where'd you get your energy from? I've given myself to the fight. That's it. So I'm fighting. So hearing you saying that is really interesting, because that was a profound moment for me, and it's never wavered.
I remember watching that live, that scene. And again, that was like watching the people jumping off the building, and it made my blood boil.
Yeah.
And I felt like getting on the plane and coming down and just going fisticuffs with these guys. When you understand that your government, because it is a government, that was a government order to those police, which is unlawful by itself. When they start unloading, and they're not non-lethal rounds, they're lethal rounds. They're just less lethal than a regular bullet. When they start shooting their own people for reserving the right to a peaceful public assembly, we got big problems in this country. It's no longer a democracy. It was not a democracy, and it was never a true democracy. It's always been the illusion of democracy. But that point there, that's when even a dummy could be sitting there going, "Holy shit, we're in trouble."
Okay,
so
Snags.
It was an extraordinary moment. You knew it was history there, and I won't go into that because I've gone into that before. But it was just a defining moment where I thought, okay, this is it now, and that's where I drive my energy from. And wherever I go, all around Australia, people go, "You're at the shrine."
Oh, yeah.
So there's a handful of people there that's had an effect on the freedom movement. People won't forget it. But so you went from there, you stood up, and how did this come about? The People's Revolution.
Yeah, well, so pre-2020, that's the slogan I was using, for what was happening. I was waiting for it for many years, 9/11 I was speaking out about things, trying to get people, look, come on, man, we got to fight back. They're taking us out. If we don't start realising what's going on and standing up against these fools, they're going to take us out. So let's man up. So I was using that term, this is the People's Revolution. Let's go. And then so when I spoke out for the first time and had a rally, I thought, well, let's make it into something. Let's call it the People's Revolution.
Thanks,
and
honey.
that's where it was born. So August. So the first one was in May, then the second and third one was August and September. Had those two rallies in 2020. Mind you, we had been rallying before that against things like no jab, no play for the kids. It was the apartheid was slowly creeping in then, and I was warning people in 17 that there's going to be a day coming soon where if you don't get a jab, you won't be going to work. Oh, you're crazy. No, I'm not, man. I'm serious. You start waking up and start defending each other's rights, because it's going to happen. 5 years later it happened. And that's obviously, I'm not trying to promote myself there. What I'm saying is that there was signs there for people to see.
I had a friend telling me years before, that's what they're going to do. And we were laughing. I was a part of a union then going, that's not going to happen. Bang, she was right.
Yeah. So those two rallies in August and September, that's when the cops came at me. They saw a new movement happening, and it was the first rally was in May, and it was in a lockdown. So people risk fines, they risk arrest to get there, and the buzz in the air, because we were watching what happened in Melbourne. You weren't shot at that stage, but Melbourne was under the pump. The cops were beating people, pumping them. So we went out, thinking this could go either way. So it was such a privilege and an honour to see everybody in Queensland come to the capital, knowingly that they could be going home in a paddy wagon or arrested or fined and things like that. They had about, I don't know, between 1,500 to 3,000 people, but the atmosphere was electric, and everybody that was there will always remember that day. It was special. The cops were good. The cops left us alone, interesting enough. And then August and September, the cops came at us. They left the crowd alone, but they came after me, and
Hey, Sharon.
there was about 10,000 people over those two separate events, and they charged me with breaching the COVID directions of being in a group of more than 10 or whatever it was. I was thinking, okay, 9,999 other people didn't get a fine, we got me. It's very interesting tactics there, boys. It's pretty transparent. So that's when the intimidation campaign started from the police. And they started turning up at home when I wasn't at work. They know where I work. They got my phone number. They've spoken to me before. They got my email address, but they turn up at work. Turn up at home when I'm at work. knock on the door. Where's Tristan? He's not here. Yeah, but where is he? I just told you he's not here. This is my partner talking. You tell Tristan if he doesn't contact us, we're going to be here every day till he... Why did you call him? You got his number. You've spoken to him before. It's obviously what you're trying to do. You're trying to, you know you can't get me, so you're going to go for my family and trying to create this harmony there. Well, bad luck, she's a warrior. She's tougher than me. So you got a bug chance of that happening. You know, and then 21, they started coming again, and it was a Monday in August, I believe, in 21, and they came to work.
Sharon.
Cop car pulls up in the car park, and I saw it from inside the shed. I said, here we go.
I got a notification, so I put it on because this is the fellow
out there, and he's asking
who does organisations in Brisbane,
pretty much,
here in
he
Queensland.
pretty much just said, you've been caught
Tricky.
driving a suspended licence. I said, well, first of all, I haven't been caught driving. Second of all, I have a licence. I can prove that to you. And I showed him the paperwork, my licence, this and that. So he didn't care. He gave me the summons to go to court. And then there was a few days later, there was a lockdown, and this is crazy. Lockdown protest in the city. We weren't allowed out of houses at all. You know, it was 5k radius. You had to be out there for food or exercise. That was pretty much it. Again, a group of people got together, went into the capital to oppose this tyranny that was starting to creep into our society. And I've never seen a police presence like that. There was helicopters, dirt bikes, ATVs, squad cars, vans. And there was cops, you know, on every corner. For every 50 metres there was a bunch of cops. They had the whole place locked down. You would have thought there was a terrorist attack going on. And I got a call before that, 2 years before it. I got a couple of connections on the inside. And they were saying, just to warn you, man, every cop from Redcliffe down to the Gold Coast is being put on standby, and they've got hundreds in the city waiting. So, well, let's go. Well, what else are we going to do, man?
And they were doing that in Melbourne. We were calling it the sledgehammer effect. So we were trying to organise a march, and we were hiding around in places where there were cafes usually open, like Jews hiding from Nazis. And then we get a call, there's a gathering here, and I think it was Northland Shopping Centre. That's why I wrote about that. And we were there, and suddenly they were in the shopping centre. They're all dressed up like in these black stormtroopers. It's going like crazy and going, what the hell? We got away, but I said, this is sledgehammer tactics. They're just trying to not only crush us, but threaten the rest of the community.
Yeah, if you act like that, we're going to bash you too. Like it was, I was watching all that stuff because I was born in Melbourne, in country Victoria, and I know a lot of my family's still down there.
Yeah.
Beautiful place. I wouldn't go back to live. It's too bloody cold for me, but beautiful place. And you know, I've got a bit of a connection there, obviously, because of that. But watching that, you know, those cops dressed up like stormtroopers to beat on
old women,
peaceful, young and old, women and men, for reserving the right to a peaceful assembly. It was, man, like I said.
After they've had a Black Lives Matter march where they'd all got down on their knees to say no more police brutality. I remember the first march I went to, we were told the police would be everywhere. We were sneaking in on back roads. And I was scared.
You were there.
I never really protested at this level before I knew I'd get arrested. I don't have much money. And then I saw other people and I got with them. And then I was thinking, is this all there is? There's like 20 of us. And then I reached this street and there was this river of people, unmasked, holding hands, touching each other. And I cried.
It's Rural Rebel. Rural Rebel, this is on
Sharon. They were refugees from tyranny. And it was just like, hey, you come, mate. And then they're touching each other, shaking hands and hugging. And then we went round the corner and there was pepper spray and the cops were smashing these people. And you were going, what the hell? And that was way before the trial. It just started. And you realise...
Around the corner and that would have been like your brothers in arms, right? Yeah. You're here for a reason.
Yeah. And we've never experienced anything like that.
And the people, and like seriously, hats off to everyone that lived in Victoria through that time of heavy oppression. Because you guys were under the pump for such a long time. My cousins called me and they were saying, mate, every night there's drones flying over, there's helicopters flying over the neighbourhoods. No, you know, they're trying to...
Really low.
Yeah. Obviously, like you said, it's the hammer effect. They're trying to create fear in you so you don't resist. So you don't resist your oppression, you know? It's just all of intimidation and fear.
I remember being pulled over with another resistance fighter in our car, and they pulled us over, and we felt like we were the IRA with a boot full of weapons, but we had nothing. And they just come up, and we're sitting there, and they look in, and they go, just to check. And they left us, and you realise we've been followed, and it's, it was all intimidation. They've been around to the house. I've had the same thing to you, come around to the house. My son was great. They said, what's your father's
This guy is
mobile
tougher
phone
than
number?
me, but I fought.
I'm not telling you. And it's just, I really admired his courage for doing it, because he was 18, but he's not out there, he doesn't do the marches, but just the balls in him to say, I'm not telling you.
That's the thing, and this is what everybody needs to start learning now. And actually, before we go there, I want to say this. The majority of police, all over Australia, not just Queensland, excuse me, they're good people. They are good people. Does that condone their actions of being complacent and pushing back against people that are standing up for the rights? No, it doesn't. But we all must remember that the police are not our enemy. They're having the strings pulled too. We need to get through to the police that they are our brothers and sisters too. These times are not finished. In fact, they're only just getting started, and they're going to be pushed into things they don't want to be doing very shortly again.
Yep.
And they need to make the right decision to come and join us, because if we don't get together now and fight for our rights, in the future, when our kids, we won't be here, but when our kids are growing up, they're not going to have any sort of rights or freedoms that we once experienced. So for the bloody kids, don't worry about your paycheck. You will be looked after. Have a faith that everything will work out. If you do the right thing, I've learned now, I'm only 36, but I've learned, if I do the right thing and do what I'm being put here to do, and look after my brothers and sisters around me, things will work out. I don't have to worry.
Yeah,
I
he's good too,
think there's a gift of just doing what you feel is right, that they can't take that away from you. So they can't take your freedom unless you hand it over, even if they beat your body. I think Steve Berko and all these great freedom fighters, that's what they teach us.
Hey, Frankie.
There's a heritage behind you. And but let's move on. So you became on. We'd heard of your name down in Melbourne. Everyone was saying Tricky.
Tricky.
So you're this rising star in the resistance. And then the epic thing comes, and then there's all this division. And the division is we've had it in Melbourne. I know you've had it there. We've had it in Canberra. People attacking everyone, pedophile protectors, all this other bullshit. But as we're moving forward and we're falling, your advice from our conversation the other day I thought was brilliant. Let's talk about that as how, first off, why people should continue to come to the rallies.
Yes. And when's the next one, Tricky? So I know.
Occasionally you get the people coming up and saying, Tricky, the rallies are bullshit, they're not doing anything.
Bullshit.
So I'll throw it back on them and say, hey, no worries, okay, you're entitled to your opinion, so tell me what you want to do then. I'll say, you want 500,000 people to walk up in Parliament House. So I tell them, all right, go do it. Don't come here and be negative towards me. You want to do something, go do it.
Yeah, that's right.
In the silence, nothing happens.
And he knows that too. Right. He's just saying that they need to wake up and
sometimes you want to do something, you can't just go do it straight away.
Before it's too late for them to.
You have to build towards it. We went from 1,500 people in May 2020 to over 100,000 on the street on one day. Over 2 years. We got 100,000 people. For every one person that's there physically present on that day, I say there's at least 10 at home that are thinking about coming or that want to come that couldn't make it.
Yep.
Whatever, they're not brave enough. Or they're not brave enough, 10 to 1. So that's possibly 1 million people here on our side in Queensland.
Yeah. There's more than that, Tricky.
So the rallies are very important to build the numbers. We're building a resistance here. And it's not against the government, it's not about the cops, it's for freedom. It's for the people. That's what we're doing. We're creating something here. Those rallies, they create a level, such high morale people leave with. Countless people come up afterwards, or they message me afterwards and say, mate,
I'm just going to stand up and have a smoke, so I won't be able to see
the rallies are the highlight for me. In my life right now, we can't wait for the next rally, that rings true with almost everyone. It builds momentum.
Fucking hope it does.
Awareness gets spread. All these things are vital in any war. Absolutely vital. If you don't have morale, you don't have momentum within your troops, within your warriors, within your people, you don't have anything. So do things to build those things up. And then lead, and like I said last night, that means nothing, momentum and morale means nothing if you don't do something with it. So have a strategy in place to take that afterwards. But in terms of the rallies, absolutely vital. And no one's sitting here claiming that they're going to win the war for us, because they're not. In fact, I'll stand on stage and I'll say this rally is not going to win the war, guys. If you think you're doing enough by turning it up here, you're not. And I throw it back onto the people every time. You can't just come here and listen to me speak and think that you're doing your part, because you're not. And I'm not doing my part by sitting here just talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get plans into place. So in terms of the rallies, yeah, important.
And I noticed that with the speeches in Melbourne, people getting up and speaking, they're speaking to the converted. This is some reason why I did this. I thought we have to have novel things that the other side it didn't plan for, and try different ideas. But I think wherever I go, I know the Stand in the Park, I think, is one of the most extraordinary movements. I go to these tiny little towns, that's where we do our Stand in the Park. You know what I mean? And they sit there and they've all got stories. Yeah, the police used to come and we used to stand, start with one person, now with 50, 60, 500 in some places. And then they all rave about the rallies they're doing.
Hey.
But the courage is spreading. The courage is spreading. And it's I said it last night, it's a marketing war. COVID was marketing genius. The vaccines have been marketing genius. The only person who has immunity is the big pharma. But it's marketing genius. That's what we're up against, and that's why marketing is a part of our fight back. But with the marches and the rallies, every time someone comes that's new to it, we have to be there waiting for them.
Yes.
Yep.
Knowing them, have people in the rallies. You go every week, so you go, hey, there's a new person. How you going?
Yeah.
Bring them in. What do you do? What's your story?
Yeah.
Join them. Welcome to the tribe.
And I do want to make a point of this again. One of the main objectives at the moment for this movement is to get more numbers on the side. If you've got 10 people, you can't win the war.
Yeah.
If you've got 10 million, you can. Yeah. Right? So we need to get there. To do that, and this is what I really want to encourage everybody to keep this in the back of their mind, that we're trying to get numbers onto our side. Put yourself in their position. You're sort of just starting to think that things maybe aren't what they are, what we're getting told. So we call them fence sitters, Not in a derogatory way, fence sitters. They're looking at us. If they come to a rally and we're constantly talking about satanic worship and pedophiles, they're going to go, what the hell are these guys talking about? They're going to run the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's no secret that there are people in high positions of power who are pedophiles. No one's denying that. And I've been calling that out for a very long time, for years. And there's proof of that around. So for people to be calling me a pedophile protector, they're wrong. Simple. We'll move on from that. If the fence sitters look at us and we're dressing up in Superman costumes and tinfoil hats, look at these jokers, they're not taking this serious, look at they're crazy, and they'll go the other way. There is so much fun had at TPR rallies. We don't have to wear tinfoil hats and Superman costumes to have fun, and the majority of people get that. And I'm not saying this upset people that once have or want to wear a tinfoil hat, because I get it. They call us anti-vaxxer crazy, tinfoil hat wearers, and they're just having a joke with it. I get it.
And what do they call us?
My point is we need to be a bit more strategic and understand that it's probably not the best way to behave in front of these people, because they're going to think we're crazy and walk. So we need.
That's the thing. The people we need on our side now are the ones that don't want to take the booster or the fourth shot. And they're looking like Dan Andrews is mandating the fourth. These people don't want it. Where are they going to go to? They have to come to us. But we have to have, like you said, we have to be approachable, welcoming. That's why I don't like pure blood.
Yeah,
because
that's like in pure blood. It's derogatory. It's divisive. If I was them, if I was the pushers, the elite, the so-called elite, I'd be making slogans up like that, and I'd be inserting it into the movement. So look at this design, pure blood. You guys are going to look cool. Use this. Use this. What it does is, people that are becoming hesitant, they'll see everybody wearing pure blood. They'll think, look at these rude guys.
I'm never going to be a part of them.
I just had my vaccine. I feel bad about the vaccine I just got, but I'm not a pure blood because I've had it, so I must be dirty blood. So these guys, we're on two different sides now. It doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
And this beautiful young girl, one rally, she came and gave me a pure blood hat, and I thanked her for it, and I smiled. I didn't know how to handle that, Drew. I couldn't say this is a stamp on it or something. But people need to get that in their heads too. And it's a cool design, and I get it.
Okay.
I get the sentiment behind it, but we have to look into things a bit deeper and see how it could come across to the people that we want on our side. I think it's damaging.
Well, because I got to a town called Mandurah in Perth, and we were late, and there was about 250 people waiting to meet us. It was a huge crowd, and a lot of them had the pure blood on.
Yeah.
And I had to say that. And I had to say, listen, I know I don't want to offend you, but we can't have this. We don't have the numbers. We have to be welcoming to the other side. We can't give a wall of discrimination that they can never cross, exactly what you said. And so it was really strange getting off all these people wanting to meet you, and you've got to actually tell them off, you know, in a nice way. But it's I think it's vitally important.
It is. You know, the fact of the matter is this war.
Yeah.
We need to win this war.
Yeah.
A strategy needs to be applied. So if we see things that need to be done, we need to do it. Simple as that. And, you know, people sort of own personal feelings and emotions and egos sort of need to be put in check a bit here and realise that, you know, none of this is for us. I couldn't give a shit.
Hello,
I couldn't give a shit about what people think about me. You know, people call me a prophet and people call me a dickhead. Both of those terms go straight off my back. Neither of those bother me either way. 'Cause I'm not here for that.
You call Moses.
I can see it. I can see it. But yeah, end of the day, you know, they said you're going to go down the history books. If I spend my day worrying about if I'm a prophet or a dickhead or if I'm going to go down in the history books, I'm going to be too caught up with that and not focus on the direction that we need to go in.
Yeah.
So you need to stay clear-minded, focus on the task at hand and get on with it and worry about the other stuff later.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I 100% agree. And it's an interesting... The other interesting thing that I'm trying to tell people is we have to sell what can you gain by being a part of the movement. I think one of the things you can gain, which is a great gift, you can find out who you really are. And then you get great strength from that. And I've found my purpose, I know my skills, I've got the skill set that I've learned, like yourself. Skill set, and I'm using it. I make mistakes, but I'm resilient, I can pick myself up. And yeah, I feel blessed. And I feel blessed to be a part of this growing movement. I call it a tribe, but it's a movement and I'm a part of it. And I love the fact that I'm a part of it. I can go to any town and most of the people don't know who I am, but then suddenly people will come out and say, oh, Michael. Yeah. And then we all get together and talk and we all talk the same language. You know, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, it must be, Michael.
Yeah, it's an instant connection with these people that you know, especially the ones that aren't local to you and you see them, yeah, they look epic when you have the camera. And that was one beautiful thing about that was that people came from all over. We already knew that we were all part of the same movement, as you say. Yeah. And that was something special about that, what happened down there in Canada.
I called it a gathering of guardians because I was there, I got evicted from the library. There was all these talk that these huge convoys were coming, but they hadn't arrived. And I was thinking, Australia's not that big, they should have been here by now. And so Thursday I was getting worried and thinking, they're not here. And then they started to arrive and I was one of the first streamers there, so I'll start streaming this. And as soon as you turned up, I stuck my camera in your face, where are you from? And people started cheering. I'm Mackay, big cheer. I'm from Adelaide, big cheer.
Yeah, it was the welcoming committee when you come through the gates at the front. Everyone's, as you drive in, for the people that won't know, you drive in through the front gates, it could be 2 a.m. There was guaranteed to be people there. And they started clearing and chatting when you got there, and you couldn't feel it bloody uplifted. It was a good feeling.
Like I started doing these live shows for hours down the side of the entrance. Yeah. And by the time they got to me, they were still cheering. Yeah. They had beers, there's cheering, there's singing. It was unbelievable.
And I want to clear some stuff up about that whole saga, actually. The original plan there was for the truckies to create a blockade in Canberra, to shut the country down, until, you know, whatever the objective was reached. Unfortunately, I do have a little bit of, well, not unfortunately, I do have a little tiny bit of knowledge on the trucking industry, and there was absolutely zero chance that was ever going to happen.
Yeah, because they don't own their trucks.
And the trucks, even the ones that did, if they wanted to get there, and they decided they'd lose their contracts. Mm-hmm. They'd lose the contracts, their livelihood would be gone. Yeah. So I knew that there would only be a handful of trucks going. And I warn people, listen, I don't want to be negative here, guys, but I just want to pre-warn you, when you get to cameras looking at the trucks, so don't become disheartened, because that's how it's going to be. That's the truth. I'm not here to sugarcoat things. We need to tell people the truth and get them ready for what's coming. So I told them that. People attacked me. I said, whatever, man, that's the truth. That's what's going to happen. I said, but what I also said, what else is going to happen is people are going to jump on this. So there's going to be an organic movement of people going out there, and you guys are going to love it. You're going to have a great time together. You're going to meet new friends. You're going to create lifelong bonds. So if you think about going,
man.
We'll just go with this warning that the trucking blockade is not going to happen. So I wasn't going to go at the start.
Oh, you went?
I wasn't going to go. I was very busy up here. I was doing TPR stuff, trying to work full time. So I thought, you know what, for what that's going to be, it's not worth my time at the moment. I'm going to stay up here and focus on what I've got to do. Then the cops moved in at the library. think it was 2 days in a row. After the first day, people getting bashed and arrested and pepper sprayed. And there was people down there. There was other. I'm not going to mention names because I'm not like that. But there were so-called leaders down there. Where were they? The cops came the second day. Same thing happened. Where are these so-called leaders when that's happening?
I was in Epic when they did the eviction in 7, and I was interviewing the people that were there, and they were all old women in their cars, basically homeless. They'd come down here, going, I'm going to fight. And then the police came in this huge line with all their gear. They didn't use it, but they were prepared to use it. And they were assholes. And we left all together, and we ended up outside the camp. But all the leaders were gone. All these big strutting tough guys, they were nowhere. There was just these old women.
So we'll get to that, but take it back to the start. So that's when I made my mind up. I was thinking, I can't sit here because we'd been through that earlier in Queensland. It did get rough at a couple of the protests, and I was managed to de-escalate it in a very tense situation with thousands of people around. And after that, I managed to build a very. Some of the cops were getting hammered, physically hammered, and I jumped in there because I don't want violence. We don't need to have violence. And here's the thing: if you don't have the numbers and you resort to violence, you're not going to win. You're going to get smashed. If you do have the numbers, then you don't need violence. You use a bit of strategy and you win. So to me, there's no reason and there's no point for violence.
I see Gandhi. Gandhi did what he did without violence.
Peaceful, non-violent resistance. So I de-escalated that situation in Brisbane, and the police are very appreciative of that. So the inspector from Brisbane started building a relationship with me. We started seeing each other, before the events. We'd sit down, we'd talk about what I wanted to do and what they wanted to do, and we'd come to some sort of deal, make an arrangement. Most of the time, it was pretty much you're free, free to do what you need to do. Sometimes they'd suggest something. I said, well, if that's the case, this relationship isn't really going to work because this is what I see needs to happen, and you guys are saying it can't happen. Anyway, it's about negotiation. So that was the start of a good relationship with the Queensland Police. And hats off to the Queensland Police. They are nothing like Vic Pol.
Oh, fuck no.
Or even the Sydney Police. They're on a different level. They really are. They're top notch. The guys who got up here. Anyway, so where was I? We saw that unfolding. Yeah. So the police down there at Epic were running amok. There was leaders there not doing anything about it, and some of these leaders had military backgrounds, big staunch men, watching old women get pushed around and shoved. And that's when my mind up went up to, and I saw that's how I'm going in there and packed. We left a few hours later, brought down some of the Guardians, and that was solely, people say I went down to get some limelight and some more attention. I've had it my whole life. I was a captain of the football team. I was very popular in high school. I'm used to it. I don't want this shit. I'm being so honest right now. I got used to it from a very young age. I don't need it. I don't want it. I went down there to try and restore peace to the people and de-escalate this situation that was escalating. That was still at the library at that stage when I was heading down. We just missed out by a few hours, or 6 hours, whatever it was. Where were we going?
I'll tell you what, I was there at the library, and it was all falling apart. There was lots of different leaders. And then I looked and I thought, okay, they're coming in force. And I remember saying, listen, we didn't come here to fight for this piece of grass. We came here to fight for the next weekend. We've got to be waiting here somewhere for when the convoys turn up and all the people, and they're coming. And they're trying to crush the head of the snake now to stop it. So we don't fight for this land. Let's go. And so we were leaving, and then just got that one. We were leaving. And then they came and said, oh no, now they're going to fight. I remember I said to the people on the backside of the thing, I'm not fighting for this land. I came here for the Saturday. So I'm going to leave my little truck. If you want to come, but that's what I'm going to do. And because everything was a shambles. And there was no way we could win. The cops were coming in enormous forces. And I've been in Melbourne, I've been there. And there's times when you can stand, there's times when there's no point. And when I left, there was an enormous convoy followed me. And then suddenly there I am going through the streets of Canberra in this convoy going, where the fuck do I go? Yeah. These people going, where are we going? I'm like, yeah, where are we going? I'm thinking this. And then some of us from Victoria, Billy and Harrison had already, and Harrison pops a lot of crap. But Harrison's has got Asperger's, so he doesn't get on with people very well. He's a basic, but he's an organising genius.
Yeah.
He's a great asset.
So I've noticed about him because I've been dealing with him since 2020, and while there is some issues there in the past, he's very good at organising things. And let's pay credit where it's due. He's got a brain for organising.
A genius brain. I'd go, I'll be there Wednesday. He goes, no, you'll be there Tuesday at 2:00 and you'll be stopped here at this and I've got the parking spot waiting for you. He's a genius. You need these people. And anyway, so they were already at Epic. And then we turned up at Epic and then you felt, okay, this is good. Let's see where we go from here. And then there was this honeymoon period of slowly growing numbers until when you realised, to me, it became the anti-vax capital of Australia. I remember this great thing when I was streaming coming in. One guy, I don't know if you heard of this, but one guy came in, because I've done like 40 cars straight in your face, everyone's celebrating. And then this one guy goes, he's got his mask on. And he goes, how long? And I've got the camera in his face. And I go, what for? And he goes, the COVID test, because it used to be a testing facility. and I wanted to do that, but instead I just straight face went, about 20 minutes. Just go park behind that bus. And the bus was covered in freedom, and everyone's walking around without masks on, and they're all freedom fighters, the flags. He went there and he parked for 20 minutes. And on the live stream, everyone's just falling over laughing. And I realised there was real joy coming out of this place. It was just joy, and people were crying with joy. But what I realised too was we can't let this just be an anomaly that is in space and time. This was the reason I took off, was to try and spread it.
I just want to clear something up because there is some stuff going around about me from and I really don't
Epic.
Get into any of the negative stuff, but it's an opportunity, so I want to take it. So I told everyone why I went down there. It was to try and sort out that police interference with people. It was escalating. I didn't want to see people get being harmed, so I went to race down there. We just missed it. So at that stage, that Epic was organised as a truck-in blockade. That's why people went down. That was never going to happen. I went down to try and, like I said. So at that stage, I'm down there and I'm thinking, all right, so what now? People still think this is going to happen. I know it's not. And again, I'm not being negative, I'm a realist. I know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. What I'm saying, in that situation down in Canberra, I knew that the original objective, gone, not going to happen. So I said, well, what can we do? How can we salvage this? And people are turning up, and they've sold everything. And they're coming down in the cars. I'm getting reports of mums sleeping in the cars with the kids because they thought coming to Canberra was going to end the war. So many people thought. I had phone calls coming from everywhere. Cousins are saying, "Man, are we coming?" I said, "Bro, this isn't going to end the war. Just come if you want to come. Anyone wants to come. But please don't think that you're going to come to Canberra for a week or 2 weeks and the war's going to end. It's not. It's not going to end." So I was thinking. I was talking to the other guys there, and I was thinking, we can salvage this somehow, right? And somebody suggested that date, the February. Was it the end of February or March? Was
it's all a blur to me then.
Yeah, it was a political day where all the politicians would get. It was the budget day. Okay, I said, okay, well, why not use this? People are staying in the cars. They've got no money. They've given up everything to be here under false pretenses. They got ripped off. Unfortunately, this is the truth of that situation. They got ripped off thinking it was going to be something that it was never going to be. So rather than just crush it, let's use the hype that's been created. And that's why at the end of that February, that last big rally, I said to the crowd, for the people that want to stay and can stay, stay. For everybody that's made all these sacrifices and you're losing money and there's hardship coming because of it, go home, go back to your job, do whatever you got to do, put your things in order, and then come back down for that day. I'm sure it was end of March. Come back down there, and we'll bring everybody we can, and we'll make it just a massive gathering. And that would send a shockwave through the whole country. That was my thinking behind it all. And I think that was probably going to be the best outcome we could have possibly expected down there. And I believe I'm totally correct about that. Then when I got back up to Brisbane, Queensland announced the amendment of the Public Health Bill, which was another tyrannical bill where they were giving themselves extra powers on top of what they already had, and they're going to extend the state of emergency. So to me, that was more important that I stayed in my home and defended Queenslanders' rights against that bill and trying to stop that bill coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Compare that to trying to salvage an unorganised mess in Canberra.
Mm-hmm.
I chose to stay in Queensland, and I stand by that decision. I explained that to everybody. You know, there's some people out there saying that I went down there for limelight, I had my 15 minutes of fame, and then I fucked off. That's not the case at all. You know, war is an ever-changing thing, and you have to adapt to it, and the battlefield's ever-changing. You've got to have plan A, plan B, plan C, and you've got to roll with the punches. That's what we're doing.
I learned to trick because I was a playwright. I learned to trick when it came to people putting it down. I used to say this saying, show me a world built by critics.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Doesn't it?
That's it, you know, and there's people out there, some of these guys they call themselves influencers, they just sit at home making videos, and they've got a lot to say about me at the moment. And then they get asked questions like, so what's your plan? They go, oh, right, so you're going to sit there and knock other people that are trying to do things. They are having successes in different areas, but then when it comes down to it, you don't have a plan yourself.
Yeah.
You should think about that.
Yeah, and there's only one voice you should listen to, is the voice inside you.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's what I listen to. Yeah. So I don't generally, a lot of people say read the comments. I don't always read the comments because, well, I don't have the time, there's thousands of them. But the trolls don't interest me, you know, unless I can make fun of them.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, you got to learn to leave your ego out of it, because, like I said, I get called a prophet and a dickhead. Both those things have the same effect on me, because we're not in it for that reason, right? So when people have a go at you, and this is something that everybody's got to learn too. If you react emotionally to things, you're going to be you're going to be knocking yourself around.
Mm.
You're not going to be able to stay focused. You're not going to be able to think clearly. You're going to be able to respond without emotion. It's a hard thing to do sometimes. But I learned don't take things personally. When I first got my license, I was 17. Someone would cut me off, but they cut me off. They cut Triccy off. So I'd be, yeah, cut me off, road raging. Now, as a more mature person, somebody cuts me off. They haven't cut me off. They're just a shit driver, or they're in a rush reviews. I don't have time for this. I don't have time to react with emotion with it. So I'll just go around them. If I've done something really stupid, I'll beat my horn and let them know, hey, man, watch your road. And I'll get off my day, that's it. I have no bad feelings about that sort of stuff. And if I did, doing what I'm doing now, I would have been disabled a long time ago. Because there's a lot of crap out there, if you want to sit there and read it, you'll find it. So, yeah, my advice to anyone is don't read the bad comments about yourself. And when people have a go at you, who cares what they think about you? You know who you are.
Yep.
You know your faith that you have. You know what you're doing is right or wrong. If you're doing the right thing, fuck them, keep going.
Yeah. But it's the other interesting thing, and because I do writing as well, I was writing this thing the other day because I've been interviewing Indigenous people all across the top. I said, I feel like once this happened, a lot of us got our shovels and went down to build a trench. But the trench was already built, and it's full of Indigenous people who've been fighting this fight forever. And I think for us to move forward now, we have to get in the trench with them. We have to actually expose and acknowledge the shit that they've been through, the pain, the massacres, everything. We have to heal ourselves. As we're waiting for the anti-vaxxers to come to us, we have to go to the Indigenous and say, can we come in your trench? And we can. They're saying, yeah, come in. And I think there's, like, I've been an oppressor of Indigenous people just by not doing anything about the oppression that they faced, just by looking the other way. That's what I've realised. It's actually a shame. It's actually sometimes such a shame that you realise, and then you realise they, just by speaking about it, they're accepting of it. You know, and there's such wisdom. It's
key. We just said their wisdom. It's not just the Australian Indigenous. It's the original land custodians of anywhere in the world. They hold such wisdom and such knowledge of not just the land, but humanity and spiritual. Yeah. We'll get a little bit deep here for a second. I do believe at the bottom of all this, it's a spiritual war. There's dark things at play here. It's dark versus light. Some people refer to it as God versus the devil. You can talk whatever you want to talk. At the end of it, there's some dark energy at play, and we're in a spiritual battle, psychological war, but a spiritual battle. Two different elements there. So if that's the case, we must all respond to any sort of negativity with positivity, and that comes down to the bottom level. You know, if people are having a go at you, don't engage with it on that.
Thanks,
on that
madman.
stay positive and respond with love and joy and happiness and spread that. That's how we're gonna, get through this unscathed.
Truth.
Yeah.
Truth is the thing, because we're being surrounded by lies upon lies upon lies. You keep using the word truth. The truth is, I'm with you. I knew Epic wasn't going to change the world.
No.
I knew the marches for Dan Andrews weren't going to change the world. But I've realised.
Well, yes, win the war, no, but change the world. It does have an effect.
We've got a quick fix philosophy mentality. That's over. This is, and I think ultimately we're going to be the better for it. If we build something on basically deep values, which with every.
Can I interrupt? Because I want to get back to Indigenous things. I took us off track there. I think it's important that we do address this.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is, it's a spiritual law, dark versus light. Okay, I don't care how that might come across now to those who aren't quite ready to hear it. If you don't believe, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but just keep that in your back pocket and keep that in mind when things start progressing. So if that is the truth, which I believe it is, and these people, these first inhabitants around the world, have this vast knowledge and vast experience with, like I said, not just here on this physical plane, but spiritual too. These powerful so-called elite families and other members, they're enlightened beings. They come from an enlightened background. They do. They've seen. Like I told you about myself going into that flame. I've had other experiences past that in my other life, which we won't go into now. There's something there beyond this physical realm. Those guys know it. There's a reason why they don't talk about it and they hide it from us, and there's a reason why they're trying to take out the original inhabitants. And that's wonderful, because they know they can unlock the secrets that we've forgotten about, that we once knew that we've forgotten about now. They hold the key for it, a lot of it. They also have, and this is a hard one, but they have a sovereign power on this land that non-Indigenous people don't have. There's elements they have that we need as a human race, but there's only 2.5% of them in this population. They need the people power too. The only way forward here is with Indigenous and non-Indigenous together. Mm-hmm. But for that to happen, we have to erase the conditioning. And a lot of my non-Indigenous friends have this perspective about these people that they're useless drunks. Now, a lot of them have dependencies now. This stemmed from something. This stemmed from the Europeans coming here, shit canning them, giving them booze, and shooting them and saying, shut up or we're going to shoot you, here's some fucking alcohol. That's, it's a testament to the Indigenous people that they're still here in any form. They're a true warrior race. They're absolute warriors, and hats off to them, man. They're still here. They're still fighting hard.
The man here on the back of the truck, Luke, he has a friend, an Indigenous guy. They've grown up together. They always work together, and he took me to meet him, and we were talking about this. And I said, "Do you think the reason a lot of your people have a drinking problem is nothing to do with addiction, but more just to try mask the pain?" And he cried. And Luke said, "I've never seen him cry." And so the truth, or searching for the truth, is the healing way forward, and also to build a great core strength in us. Because I believe in yourself that all of us, from all our different backgrounds of Indigenous, can hold the high moral ground here. They can't take it off us. They're trying to change our morality, but our souls won't bite. That's why people are lost. They're heading in a direction, their souls go, this is the wrong way.
This is the thing, we are the product of a lifetime of conditioning. Doesn't matter if you're born in the year 2000 or in the 1900s. You are the product of a lifetime of conditioning. When I say we, this is a generalization of the population currently today. We don't know ourselves. We don't have connection. We don't have a connection with ourselves. We don't have a connection with each other. We don't have a connection with the land. We don't have a connection spiritually. So we're lost. So they teach us about consumerism, materialism. It's full of hidden messages. That's what they're telling us to worship consumerism.
Buy and be happy.
Buy and be happy. Go to work, earn your money, you can get that new pair of Nikes you want, and you can wear that gold chain, faster car, bigger house. And we spend our whole life, like I said, working till 70, chasing this bullshit dream. We might realise it. A lot of us realise it too late. We're in our deathbed. We go, shit, my whole life's gone. I wasted it. And it's over. Thanks for coming. I've just served the machine my whole life without fucking realising it.
I met a funeral director who told me he quit the job because he couldn't stand turning up at these mansions, these huge mansions, and finding the men hanging in the laundry. And they hadn't made any mess.
Yeah.
They just used the manhole cover. They didn't want to, so the family could sell the house.
Yeah.
And they just left. It was like leaving a prison, I guess. And so to me, pre-COVID, I think our country was in, didn't know who it was, just like you said, didn't know who it was. It was great pain, people on antidepressants, suicide rates through the roof. That's why I think, even though I do believe there's a great evil coming on the land, the cure is us going, we don't want that. We have to develop a new Australia, and we go this way. And that's what I think the freedom movement, we might not reach the destination, we might not even get to see the destination, but we can start building the foundation going, we've got to head that way. And you've got to build it on these core values. And we have to discuss amongst all of us what those core values are. And then, just like building a house, you know, we build the foundation of the house, and we might be the foundation, and finally someone else might put on the roof and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's our part in this.
Yeah, that's, you know, that's the sole intention behind the TPR Connect groups, is that it's building this foundation for new communities to emerge, and it's a platform that's going to empower the communities. And we start this now, and eventually we're going to be creating our own society. And that's what has to happen, because this, like you said last night, I'm sure it was you that said it last night, it's too far gone. You know, the political system is too far gone. The legal system, too far gone. However, in saying that, there are things we can do using those corrupt systems to our advantage with strategy. But we've got to go in there with a clear plan and stick to that plan, and we can have victories in that essence. But you know, for the people that thought we were going to win the election, sorry, that was never going to be there. And for the people, the so-called leaders and influencers that were sort of leaning towards that thing, pull your head in. If you don't understand the situation, maybe go talk to other people about it first before you open your mouth, because a lot of the time you're doing more damage than any good. We were never going to win it. It was going to be a struggle to even get any of our freedom people in there. The only hope was to get a couple of them in there. We couldn't even do that, right? Now, that's not saying that I don't believe that the political route is worth looking at. I think it is. With the right people, with the right strategy, it is. But I didn't see much of that.
I interviewed independents everywhere. I saw lots of passion, lots of dedication. But you're brand new to this. And this is a corrupt system that is designed to keep you out. And power just doesn't go, oh, you don't, you want us to hand over power? Sure.
You've got 1,000 people asking to have it back. It's 600 years we've worked at this, we've infiltrated every single establishment, we've put up people everywhere, we control every aspect of your lives, but you asked us so nicely here. Here's it back to you.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. I even say to people about freedom, I said, look, this freedom you had, 8-hour work, which most of us don't do anymore, this was never given to us. The bosses didn't go, you want to work less and more pay? No worries. No, everything was fought for. And then we had this golden period where we didn't have to fight. Now we have to fight. Now, and the fight will define us. You will benefit from it.
Andrew,
You'll be able to hold your head up. And they can never take it down. Even if they throw you in the clink, you're still there. You're fighting the good fight. And let's get to finish this now. And I actually want to interview again, but talk about the future of what you think we have to do as a movement going forward to become, one, more resilient, and two, living more in the truth.
First thing that needs to happen is, at the moment, I'm going to speak about Brisbane because that's where I live at the moment, and I know this. The police are behaving themselves.
Yes.
The government's behaving themselves.
No.
When I say that, what I mean is we're not in lockdowns. They're not really forcing us into anything yet. Everything's gone. The
For
problem
now.
we have now in the movement up here is coming from our own people, fighting each other. The pushback's coming from our own people at the moment. It's absolutely ridiculous. put your shit to the side. Okay, everybody, 100% of the people are going to disagree on something. Now and into the future, forever. That's humans. Not everybody's going to agree on everything. That's fine. Let's accept that. Put that to the side. Let's sit down with your brothers and sisters and work out that we all have a common goal here. Let's focus on that goal. Me and you, we've got these differences. We're going to forget them, we're going to go towards this goal. By the time we get to that goal, I promise you, those differences beside us, although we haven't actively fought to solve it, they'll be gone. Because we just worked hard towards this common goal as brothers and sisters in this war, as warriors, we've already solved it. We need to really understand that those small, and oftentimes perceived differences, actually, not really existing differences, they don't matter. You know what matters? Our future generations matter.
Mm-hmm.
So let's focus on them. Get all the other shit out of your head. Who's more popular? Who's got the bigger rallies? You know, you're doing something I don't like. Forget it. Agree on what we have to do here, and that's win back freedom for this country. You know, come up with these empowered communities that are going to embrace our future generations in a way where they can live freely, they can do what they want, they're going to have peace and love in their lives. This is all basic stuff. And everyone, you know, It doesn't matter what country you come from. I do believe that the vast majority of people on this planet are good people, and they're all going to say the same thing if you ask them the question. They're going to say, we want to live peacefully. We want to,
I think it's the way the camera is.
That's going to be the two main things.
I think avoiding conflict
Hey, Tricey.
is the reason why people are actually going towards the jab. Is they're trying to get out of this, keep and avoid conflict. But realizing too, no matter what they do, conflict's coming.
Yeah, I get that. And you're right, you're 100% right. A lot of these people...
I don't mean conflict like a war, but it is a conflict.
Yeah. If they don't want to get it, but they're being forced to get it, if they don't want to get it, that means they're going to fight. For their rights. They don't want to have to fight for their rights. They want to go to work, they want to earn the money, and they want to go home. Because that's a simple life. Bad luck. You've got two choices. One's fight for the future generations, like you should be doing, or one is be I won't make it derogatory, be less of a man than you could be less of a man than you could be, and give in to the impurities of this world and do nothing for the future. That's your two choices.
I think there's an even worse scenario, is that you'll reach an age and you might own a house, you might own a holiday house, you might have gone on trips, but you'll just be wishing that you were back in the fight, fighting, because you realise you betrayed everything, and all you've got to show for it is a gilded cage.
End of the day, if you know what's going on, or even if you're, you know, just a little bit aware of what's happening, and you choose to turn your back on this now, you will live to regret it. Why? Because you sold us out, and that is the truth. That's what I tell all the police officers, anyone. I'll keep picking on the police officers, and I shouldn't do that. But the reason I do that is because they are in a very respectable and important role in our communities.
If they stood down, it's all over.
You know, that's the government uses them to their advantage.
Yes.
They're not allowed to. You know, the police aren't allowed to take orders from the government, because otherwise they're militarising the police. You can't have that. But they do, and this is why I keep talking about the police, because they are playing such a pivotal role in where we are going in the future, and so will the military. They need to come to terms with this. They need to, you know, and it's the same thing. They're comfortable not to look into it and look at us like we're crazies, because then they don't have to deal with that absolutely monumental conflict that will come across to them when they realise what's actually happening. And they'll only realise it when they put themselves out there to realise it, and that's why they avoid it. Because if they do, they've got a big bloody decision to make. That's either go to work and keep doing the same thing they're doing, and they'll be hating themselves, or here's my badge, I'm joining people, or try to do something within the ranks, and that's a smart way to do it. Try and do something within the ranks while you have that power there, especially the ones high up. You know, a lot of people in this movement say anyone above a senior sergeant's a bloody Freemason and a pedophile, this and that. Bullshit. There's still good people out there. There is still good people in high positions of power. They need to start. I'm not saying that there's many or that there's few, but they do exist, and those people can help in an extremely beneficial way if they put themselves forward and make that sacrifice. There's fear involved in doing that. It's a big decision.
That's the fear is the virus, courage is the cure.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Fantastic to meet you, brother.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's it.
Well, that was fucking great. Searching for something more than the light. And now, because of 2 years of this bullshit, this bird is singing my song. Michael Gray Griffith. Cafe locked out on the road. If you are brave enough to share your story or thoughts and feelings, we will record and share them. Fear is the virus. Courage is the cure. Well, that was excellent. Okay, guys. Okay. Yeah, that was excellent, wasn't it? How much percent have I got on my phone? 64. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, go put. Oh shit. Like that. I'm talking and it's gone.
Look what's on. WikiLeaks.
What?
WikiLeaks.
Right. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to have a smoke. Yeah, Andrew, that's exactly right. Now, when I first heard of Tricky, before going down there and doing the rally, filming the rally down there, I was told that apparently he couldn't be trusted, or something or other. Something happened anyway, and then when I went to the rally, I'm thinking, why? Why is people bad mouthing this dude? Like, wow. I think he's got his shit together more than what others do. And he does speak the truth. But that was great. I'd definitely want to upload that one, and hopefully I can have it out on public, because that was great. Unfortunately, today the lie has become the truth. More like they keep lying to us and think that I don't know why they keep lying to us, actually, because with their bullshit lies, it's made a lot of us open our eyes, actually, to their bullshit. So... yeah, exactly, Andrew. Okay, what is the time? 8:34. Can you see that? Yeah, I liked that interview. That was good. But a damn shame that I don't know. What is that over there? A damn shame that I don't know when the next rally is. What is that?
Libs.
Still getting my head around poor River Table looking at prison term if this does not go well on the... Hey? Prison term? I can't see how he would get jail. What the hell? No way. That doesn't sound right at all. Two years prison if the cops win the case. What? What do you... What? They attacked him. And even kicked his fucking camera and shit. Against who? Madman. Against River? 7 witnesses? What the fuck? Who the hell is going against him? Seven witnesses. Oh, okay. I missed that one then. Yeah, Yeah, that's exactly right. Seven policemen. Wow, man. They were the ones who were pushing him around and then pushed him down to the ground, kicked his fucking camera and fucking tripod, frigging dragging him along the ground and everything. What the fuck? Wow. Intimidation. They don't want people becoming inspired. Same as we have political prisoner here in Canada in jail still for mischief packing. Okay. Well, we're all witnesses. Yep. Yep. I hope they realize that the more they keep doing this, the more angrier people are going to get. Oh, I wasn't there. Damn it. Okay, that's good. Yeah. I mean, we're not going to just keep lying down and copping this fucking shit. So they did Madman? I thought he had 14 days or something to play it. Huh? He's plugging Sideshow too. Too far gone down the narrative. They can't do a turnabout now or it makes them look even worse. There's no way Rivers get... Hmm. Yeah, I'll have to go on there and have a look, Andrew. Um. Hmm. Um. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, so he's put another lot up, has he? Hmm. I hope these bastards lose the case, eh? I really do. And I hope when that's all done and dealt with, I hope River laughs in their faces because that is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I didn't go and record it.
Hmm. Hey?
Come here and watch it.
Watch what? Oh yeah, on the TV.
Like, get it on first.
We're actually going to put it up on the TV, guys. Which one's this one? You done one last night and tonight, I think.
They all deserve to be held accountable for what they did that day. It was disgusting. The way they treated me and the way they treated River.
3 people have said they'd be a witness for River Table in court. Yeah, good. If you witness River Table arrest, please. Wow.
They all deserve to be held accountable for what they did that day. It was disgusting. The way they treated me, the way they treated River. And yeah, so I'll be a witness for sure. Love you, River.
Hmm.
Can I just get everyone's attention for a sec? Anyone that was there who was a witness to River Table being assaulted by the police and taken into custody, we need you to present yourself as a witness for that case. So Joel's got his hand up. If there's anybody else or know anyone who actually was there on the scene and witnessed the whole thing, we need you as a witness for River Table's court case.
Alright, sidetrack, good to meet you today. Yeah, tell me about yourself.
I'm Slideshow. I was there on the 5th of September in 2020 for the first major march in Sydney. There's a small march in Melbourne. And been following this journey even before 2020. I was told by a very good friend what was about to happen, and I got off the internet. I deleted all of my online persona, Facebook, Instagram, everything. And it was only in September of last year that I went, okay, I'm going to start up another channel, and that became News Australia, where I did a 2-minute news segment every single day with just basically a headline as to what people should be paying attention to. And then coming into Muckadar camp, Cindy Roberts called me to the embassy to do ceremony, and that brought on Muckadar camp. And then having 3 days rest between Muckadar camp and the Freedom Movement, the convoy showed up. And so I've been here on the ground since the 18th of December. I was already living in Canberra, but I've been on the front line since 18th of December. News Australia is an alternative source of news for people who want to think for themselves.
Oh. Okay. What about last night's one on Melbourne ground?
Last night, what?
Yeah, they put it up last night too, apparently. That premiered 25 minutes ago. Yeah, last night. Urgent message from MG, yep.
Bit of a serious one today. I will wait a moment for people to join, but for anyone who's rewatching this, I'm going to try and be as succinct as possible. Rob, who a lot of you guys know, otherwise known as River Table on YouTube, he's a good friend of mine. We've actually never met in person, but I met him, you could say, in the comments of Melbourne ground 6 months ago or so, and he makes beautiful custom furniture. He lives in country New South Wales, and very talented, very gentle, you know, humane person. And he started live streaming protests during the big Canberra movement when it started, and his channel blew up, and he just kept working and live streaming. And as a lot of you may have heard pardon me, as a lot of you may have heard as well, he was arrested on the 23rd of April, quite brutally in my opinion. We have the video of that. You may have seen the little compilation that I put up on Melbourne Ground earlier today. I tried to put it up yesterday and the timing just wasn't right. I think God wanted it to be put up this evening because it kept stuffing up, and anyway, we figured that out in the end. Please click the like button if you're in here. It pushes it out to more people, and we really want to get this message out. This is just a phone TM. Good to see you. G'day, Mad Aussie. Good to see you too. So the problem we have now is that Rob Rivertable's court date is on the 22nd of June, which is in like 5 days. And the police have 7 witnesses against him for multiple charges, which, you know, I'm commenting as an outsider. I'm not part of the trial or anything like that. So, you know, I don't have legally privileged information. I don't have anything like that. This is just, I'm a guy who's heard what's going on, and the charges sound pretty obscene. And from what I hear, they're not planning on dropping them, which means that Rob Rivertable could be going to jail for up to 2 years. Now, any of you who know Rob, any of you who know Rivertable, would know the thought of that guy in jail for 2 years, you know, really, in my opinion, for protesting, you know, it just really seems like he was targeted. But once again, that is me commenting as an outside observer. I'm not a part of the trial. I'm not involved in the trial proceedings at all. But I would like to try and help. Mandy, thank you for that. We really would like to get the word out on this, because what I'm about to say is so crucial. We as a movement often fail when it comes to actually putting our money where our mouth is. We're very happy to go and protest and really honestly march and complain at times. But when it comes to the nitty gritty brass tacks, you know, work, we have failed at times. Now that can be changed, that can be improved, you know, and we will improve it. But the point is, I'll try to stay on topic. Rob needs at least 7 witnesses in this trial to match the witnesses that the police are bringing against him. Now, you've seen the footage, and if you haven't, please check it out. There are over 100 people there around him when it happens. Now, they didn't all see it, but if we can't get 7 people who were there to stand up and be a witness, I'll be very disappointed. And I think this is the rare, no, it's not rare, it's actually a very common opportunity where we can shine as a movement and we can actually be real grassroots, and we can get to work on a person-to-person scale. And what I mean by that is, you know, if there are, let's be blunt, if there are 50 people watching this live stream as there are right now, I would hope that 30 of you guys, and I know you're really good people, you know, I know a lot of you are regulars, I would hope that 30 of you guys can send this link out to people you know or whatever, just with the message, if you were there on the 23rd of April, please contact the email address. I've got Rob's email address and Melbourne Ground's email address on the video that I put up. But the thing is, the best chance we have at any of this is people power. And people power means 20 people, one by one in their own lives, spreading the word on something. You know, if the issue is that we need to, you know, and the government pays $1 million to some lobbying firm or whatever to try and get their law passed. We don't have $1 million, but we do have 1,000 people, and 1,000 people can spread the word to another 1,000 people, and so on and so forth. That's the power that we have. And that's the power that we haven't used to our full potential yet. We can and we will. And I don't want to be pessimistic. My estimates for the largest protests in Melbourne were about 400,000 people. Well, it looks like 400,000 to 450,000 people voted for minor parties in the federal election in Victoria. So at the very least, we've got the bare minimum. We've got the base efforts, you know. And Michael Walsh, I know it was disappointing. I mean, we want more and we should have had more. People should have spread the word more. People should have been more active. But it's not worse than we thought, and it's not better than we thought. It's about what we expected. But back to the point, Rob, River Table here, I plead with you all, at the very least, if you do one thing tonight, I'd love for you to get the link for not necessarily this live stream, but the video I put up just before it, the one with the sort of, you know, piano music and stuff that's got the footage of Rob's arrest. If you could just share that around, that I would really appreciate. I'm not monetizing that video, you know, I haven't put any donation links in there or anything like that. It's literally just about, we have 5 days to try and get at least 7 people to contact, get involved, and go to that court case. I'm not asking anyone to lie. I'm not asking anyone to say anything that's not true or to, you know, be a false witness. No. And anyone with that thought in mind needs to turn around and walk the other way. Just do not get involved. But the fact is, at least 7 people saw what happened to Rob and can support him in this court case. You know, if you've been to these protests, you can bet they've been watching you. You can bet they've got a file on you. You can bet they've got a picture of you sitting on a wall somewhere or on a hard drive. I mean, we're all being watched, and there's no point trying to hide from that now because that's what our country's become. So I plead with you all, and it will be okay, because he's a beautiful guy, you know, and you're all beautiful people. And yeah, so none of this is over yet. None of this fight, none of this freedom, you know, protesting, anything. I mean, we're rethinking things, we're rethinking strategy. Those of us who are still committed are still involved, you know. I thank God that my calling is in independent media, because that's one of my strengths and one of the things that works for me. You know, if I was organising protests, I don't know if I'd be able to do that. That's a tough job. But yes, so just to wrap it up, thank you guys so much for watching for this long. The only important thing right now in this particular thing is getting the word out, sharing the video that I put up earlier today. It is not monetized. It has no donation link or nothing. I do not benefit from this in any way. I just don't want to see Rob go to jail. And the least we can do as a movement, the least we can do as a collective of people who were there that day. I wasn't there that day. The least we can do is get people in that room supporting him. Numa 7, it was in Canberra. Yeah, I know this is Melbourne grounded, it's confusing, but I'm in Canberra right now for a little trip. Michael Walsh, thank you, Melbourne Ground, for all you do, man. Thank you, my friend. Really appreciate that. Mandy, exactly, MG, thank you. MK Ultra Techniques in Advanced, yep. It would be helpful if those viewing his arrest via live streams to be witness to. Mandy, honestly, I'm not sure about that. I don't know enough about the legal system to really answer responsibly. Sunny Shine, hi MG, must say that's an impressive view. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you. Numa 7, good to see you as well. Michael Walsh, the election was disappointing. I replied to that. Lulu's Heart Senator Alchemy shared with requests. Thank you very much. Targeting is their agenda. Okay, if anyone. Okay, we've got a good comment here from Michael Walsh. Hey, Melbourne Ground, do you see this getting better at all, man? Do you think things will change in Victoria with Dictator Dan, etc.? Michael Walsh, I actually have quite high hopes for the state election in Victoria coming up. I think it will be a bit better of a
that's exactly right, Andrew.
Federal election. I think
they're going to lie through their freaking teeth, are they?
YouTube likes to cut me out when I start to say important things. If any of you get offended, I'm sorry, but this is...
Whoa. What happened there? Another one.
Look at this. 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 Harassing citizens.
Oh, okay, cool.
Don't give them a reason, guys. Just comply. Just comply. Don't give them what they want.
That's right.
Don't give them what they want, guys. Don't give them what they want. Off the road? Yeah, I'm off the road. No, off the road. Don't touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Don't fucking touch me. What's for me? What for? Get off. What's for? I'm on the road. I'm not obstructing the road.
How's that when the others are there? See what it... See?
Why can't we use one light? Stop pushing me. Stop pushing me. I'm off. Everyone. Right, you're under arrest for carrying what the fuck? Okay, I'll move. I'm moving.
Fucking assholes.
Yeah, pussy! Hey! That's a camera. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, they're fucking dogs, alright.
You bunch of cutlass coaches, ah, look at this! Fucking gutless, look at you!
He didn't do anything.
Gutless, look at you bunch of pee-wee pricks! What arsehole! Man's a prince! Leave him alone! He's fucking idiots! Let him go! You arsehole!
Tot helemaal.
Well, eh?
Just come back into the side, and they desperately needed him. Now, I don't think that's the difference between winning and losing, but we just don't like seeing anybody. Obviously, precaution needs to be taken, so hopefully.
Well, I really hope they that frustration, anger you've got them. Huh? I'm not crying. Yeah. Well, hopefully, Andrew. I mean, come on. The judge watches them videos. You'd think they'd drop the charges. Well, everyone else was on the road, Deb. We've seen all that. Don't know why that copper was sitting there telling him to get off the fucking road when they were fucking sitting there peacefully walking across on that part of the road. He wasn't in the wrong. Yeah, it is. And they've got a fair few charges on him, Deb. Buddy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly, honey. Who else is live? Anyone else live? I am floating. No, that's right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember Tricky saying that to us. Hey, honey. When we were at the rally. Now, apparently there's a protest coming up at the front of Parliament in Brisbane. I don't know when. I'm trying to find out when that is. Yes, Sarah, I can see him. Nathan's live, okay. Okay, well, I think I might end my stream and upload this one, make it public. Yep. Yeah, that's right, madman. They make up their own rules as they go, which is so fucking wrong. Yeah. Yeah. It's 9:09. It's starting to rise now. Oh well. Hey, what the? I think that was a micro bat that just flew in, flew out. Yeah, I'm just about to, so I'm going to end my stream now, guys, and we're going to go over to Nathan's rubbish removal. Tomorrow is another day, but the same fight is the struggle for freedom. Yep. Thanks for coming in, guys. Okay, I will be over there shortly. I just have to pack my tripod and that up again. Okay. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming in. And that was a good interview with Tricky. You're welcome, Andrew. All right, we'll see you over on Nathan's. Bye, guys. Oh, there's the link for Nathan's. If you want to go over to Nathan, I'll leave it on for a minute so you can. You too, madman. Take care of yourself. Okay, bye, guys. Take care, all.